Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashemi. On Update this evening, I will be doing it alone, but I will have a lot of stories that have been lined up for your viewing pleasure this lovely evening. As we speak, some games are ongoing in the African World Cup qualifiers, while that of the Euro 2024 qualifiers will also be coming up tonight right there in Europe, and we have a lot of other stories that has been lined up for you. Okay, let's begin with this particular story. It concerns our own, well, it's our own league. The way the NBA is ongoing, so also our own basketball league is ongoing in Nigeria. So, but this time around, we are going for the final phase of the NBA the final four, and now venue have been confirmed because after the first phase, teams have been confirmed for the final four, and you know, one of the gains of this final four is that any team that wins the final four, that is the NBBF basketball league, will represent Nigeria at the BAL, that is Basketball League Africa. The last team that went there was Falcons, where they didn't win any game. Even in the Savannah conference, they didn't win any game at all. Even in the classification game, they lost all their game and they were sent packing. It happened in Monastir, Tunisia last year. So, but this time around, let's see the team that will represent Nigeria at the Basketball League Africa. We have 4 teams that will battle in this final four. Port-Harcourt is the venue to host the final four of the Nigerian Basketball Federation League final of 2023. So we have 4 teams, the likes of Rivers Hoopers, Nigerian Customs, Boko City Chiefs, Hoops and Reeds will battle for the title in Port-Harcourt. Let's see the team that will win it. For Rivers Hoopers, in the Atlantic Conference, they didn't lose any game before they qualified for the final four that happened at the in Akure. That is where the Atlantic Conference took place, and then the Savannah Conference took place in Abuja, where we now have Nigerian Customs and Boko City to represent from the Savannah Conference. Rivers Hoopers and Hoops and Reed will represent from the Atlantic Conference. So the team that wins the final four, that is the Basketball League 2023, will represent Nigeria at the Basketball League Africa that will happening next year. So for the 4 teams that have made it to the final four, it's a good one. The league was hardly put together just to make sure we have a representative that will represent Nigeria at the Basketball League Africa. And for all of the 4 teams that will be participating in the final four in Port-Harcourt, congratulations to them. Kudos to them for actually doing a very good job from their various conferences, the Atlantic Conference and then the Savannah Conference. For the Savannah Conference, actually Gombe Bulls, one team didn't show up, and it was good news for the rest of the team that participated at the Savannah Conference. But for the Atlantic Conference also, we have a team, that is Delta Force, pulled out of the competition because of logistics reasons and paucity of funds. They said that the management of a Delta Force couldn't meet up with funds for the team to actually travel to Akure to participate in the Atlantic Conference, and because of that, they pulled out of the Atlantic Conference, and other teams participated, and it was good news. 7 teams participated in both conferences, and we now have 2 finalists to represent from each conferences. Rivers Hoopers, they will have the Boko City Chiefs and Customs to play in the final four that will happen in Port-Harcourt. Now, for Rivers Hoopers, they will be playing at their home ground. So let's see if they will use the home advantage and win the NBBF Basketball League Final for 2023 and represent Nigeria in the Basketball League Africa that will happen next year. But let's not forget other teams, the likes of Boko Chiefs. They are also a very strong side who are also looking to go to represent Nigeria at the Basketball League Africa for the very first time. For Kwara Falcons, they went there for the first time and they didn't do well. This time around, they didn't even make it to the final four that were happening in Port-Harcourt. So kudos to all of the teams and congratulations to the Nigerian Basketball Federation for putting the league together, for at least putting behind or has bedeviled that federation and organizing this league. I think the minister still need to do a lot of work in the Nigerian Basketball Federation by looking into the crisis that has been rocking that federation and putting an end to it and letting every hands be on deck and see how basketball sports can go back to where it used to be in Nigeria. After football, the next biggest game in Nigeria is basketball. But I can tell you that other sports are catching up. The likes of cricket is trying to catch up with these two sports I just mentioned. You might say, I don't know what I'm saying, but I can tell you the truth that cricket sports in Nigeria is fast growing, and very soon, the way they used to talk about cricket in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, that is how we'll be talking of cricket in Nigeria alongside football, basketball, and other sports that are fast growing in Nigeria. The likes of tech ball and the rest of them also are fast growing sports in Nigeria. The beach soccer also is not left out. So let's leave the basketball story right now, and then let's look at the next story we have on the show. This time around, we'll go straight to the most important league in the land. They call it, that's the NNL, that is the Nigerian National League. This is where teams are promoted to play in the Nigerian Premier League. That is the senior league, the senior men's league in Nigeria. For the in the NNL, you have quite a number of teams, and that is where, like I said, we promote teams from the NNL to play in the Nigerian Premier League. And now two teams have aired in that league. Gateway and Malofashi FC. Malofashi FC is of Katsina, while Gateway is of Ogun State. Gateway United, Diako, and Malofashi FC of Katsina now have been expelled from the league. Why? Because some, I think on this show, we actually talked about this on this show, where the organizers of the NLL came out and actually issued warning to all of the clubs to do their club licensing on time, their registration, everything that concerns the 2023 and 2024 league season. They should wrap it up, and a deadline was set for that particular registration and then club licensing. But for these two clubs, they flaunted the orders, they disobeyed that order, and now the organizing committee headed by Muhammad, Dr. Oni Muhammad, now has expelled these two teams from playing in the league for 2023 and 2024 league season. So Gateway United and Malofashi FC will not be part of the Nigerian National League 2023-2024 league season, except if they are pardoned. Well, for now, there's no news of pardoning these two teams. And now the NNL has said they are going to take a stand, and that stance they have taken to expel these two teams. And they've said they are not going back on what they have actually put in place. And I think this will serve as a deterrent to other clubs who want to foot drag what they need to do. These are, you don't need to be told, and you don't need to be remembered. Remember that we need to do club licensing. Club licensing is a regulation that has been put in place by FIFA, that all clubs, if you want to play in the league, you must do what is called club licensing. You must register your players. Their data must be captured in the organizing body of the league. So, for Gateway United and Malofashi FC of Katsina, they flaunted this order, and now they have been expelled from the league. So, if I would advise NNL, the organizing body for the league, they should not allow these two teams to participate in the 2023-2024 league season, so that other teams will use it as a lesson. Because if you pardon these two teams, I can bet you know how things work here in Nigeria. They will definitely find a way of maybe other teams also will also want to err, and then they will make reference to Gateway United and then Gateway United and Malofashi FC, and they will say, okay, these two teams also didn't do this, and now you are punishing us for nothing. But if I were, like I said, if I were advise NNL, they should just go by their decision and sanction, and let this sanction say for these two clubs, they shouldn't take part in the 2023-2024 league season in the Nigerian National League. That is Gateway United and Malofashi FC. Okay, let's leave that story. Let's leave that story quickly and go over to the next story we have now. This time we'll talk about women's football, where we'll talk about the women's football now. We'll be talking about the second, the junior team of the second junior team, be the first junior team of the Falcons. Now we'll talk about the Falconets, where Tanzania, their counterparts, have landed in Nigeria for Falconet class. We know the first leg they are preparing. They are preparing for Colombia 2024. That is the Under-20 Women's World Cup 2024. It will be happening in Colombia next year. So the first leg between the Falconets and Tanzania ended on a 1-1 draw. They took the lead and we had to come back to equalize. Now that game will be coming up this weekend at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja. And for to tell you how serious these ladies are, they've landed in Nigeria. They'll be talking tough ahead of the return leg here in Nigeria, that they are coming to surprise the Falconets here in Nigeria. Let's see if they can actually pull that surprise. But if it is the women's football, we actually have a lot of confidence in them. If it's the Flying Eagles or the Super Eagles, or the Golden Eaglets, we might be a little bit jittery or be shaking that, okay, they can do what they've said. But now when it comes to the women, you know the women are a very tough nut to crack. So for the Falconets now, they have their opponents in town. They landed in Nigeria. They landed in Nigeria on Wednesday, and now they are preparing to actually keep a date with the Falconets of Nigeria at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. Like I mentioned, the first leg ended on a 1-1 draw, and the winner takes it all in the second leg. After this, let's see who goes through to Colombia 2024. Christopher Danjuma, the coach of the Falconets, said he knows what he's going to do and how he's going to set up his team against this very stubborn and Tanzanian team. So that game will be coming up over this weekend, Sunday precisely at 4 p.m. Nigerian time. Abuja fans, you can go out and cheer these guys to victory. Okay, so, let's leave that story, and now let's talk about the Super Eagles, where Super Eagles coach Jose Pizarro has defended his decision of giving the first call-up to this young man that has come to represent Nigeria. That is Nathan Teller of Bayer Leverkusen. He plays for Bayer Leverkusen, and Jose Pizarro has defended why he called up Nathan Teller. We know he's a very enterprising winger. He was with Burnley last season. He was loaned to Burnley before he was bought over by Bayer Leverkusen. And before he got his first international call-up to the Super Eagles, he got his first goal for Bayer Leverkusen over the weekend before coming down to Nigeria to join the Super Eagles to represent Nigeria. And Jose Pizarro has defended his decision of inviting Nathan Teller to join up with the Super Eagles. And let's see if that decision will actually pay off. But for Jose Pizarro, he's the coach of the side. He knows what is best for the team. He knows the kind of players he's going to invite. But if you look at it, he's an enterprising winger. Before he left Burnley last season, he made the team of the season in the English Championship. So to tell you, he's a fantastic player, fast on the ball, a good winger, and let's see, he's going to bring competition to the likes of Simon Moses in the Super Eagles, Ademola Lookman. That is what we want. We want competition in the team. Let it not be that some of the players are commanding regular shares. They cannot be benched. Without them, we cannot go forward, or without them, we cannot have other players, we cannot see other players to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So it's a good one coming in for Jose Pizarro by inviting Nathan Teller to join up with the Super Eagles. Okay, let's leave the Super Eagles story and quickly look at the Euro qualifiers. Games will be coming up tonight, but there were games last night. Let's look at the results of some of the games that happened last night. One man cannot stop scoring and cannot stop creating records every time he plays for the national team. You know the person I'm talking about already if you actually watched that game last night. That is Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored his 128th goal for country. Now, Ali Day of Iran was holding that record for most goals scored for the national team, 108. But now Ronaldo has surpassed that record and set his own. Now 128 goals for Portugal. This man is phenomenal in every department. He plays for Al Nassr when he left Manchester United, and he has been doing well in Al Nassr, that is the Saudi Arabia Premier League. He's topping the goal chart in the Saudi Arabia League. Let's look at the result quickly of some of the games that were played last night in the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Spain trashed Cyprus 3-1 at home. Georgia and Scotland ended on a 2-2 draw affair. One man also cannot stop creating record for the national team. He plays for Manchester United. McTominay, 7 games, 7 goals for the Scottish team. Fantastic player. He plays. He's now more of a goal scorer than the midfielder he used to be. So he scores for both club and country. He got his 7th goal for the Scottish team in that particular encounter last night. For Liechtenstein against Portugal, it was 2-0 against Liechtenstein at home. Ronaldo getting the goal and Cancelo getting the 2nd goal in that particular game. In the first half, it ended on a goalless affair, and in the second half, in the first 10 minutes of that game thereabout, Ronaldo got the 1st goal for Portugal and Cancelo getting the 2nd for the Selecao, as they are called, of Portugal. Now Luxembourg beat Bosnia-Herzegovina 4-1. Slovakia also trashed Iceland 4-2. Azerbaijan surprisingly beat, even with 10 men, they beat Sweden 3-0. Azerbaijan to Sweden. If you look at these two countries, they are far apart, and they were issued red card, and after that red card they were able to get the 3rd goal. Not that they scored the 3 goals before that red card. They got the 3rd goal even after the red card against Victor Lindelof of Manchester United, Sweden. Now Estonia lost to Austria 2-0 at home. Bulgaria and Hungary also played at a 2-2 draw, and Montenegro beat Lithuania 2-0. Those are some of the games that went down last night in the Euro 2024 qualifiers, and we have fixtures to come up tonight in the Euro qualifiers as we speak. Some of the games are ongoing. Now let's look at Group C. England will be taking on England is taking on Malta. Italy will battle North Macedonia. Like I mentioned, some of the games are ongoing. Moldova against Albania. Poland will play Czech Republic. And then in Group H, we have Finland against Northern Ireland, and Denmark will play Slovenia. Some of the games are ongoing as we speak, while some of them will come up by 7:45 p.m. Nigerian time. So for the Euro 2024 qualifiers. For Portugal, for the game of Portugal last night, though they've already qualified for Euro 2024, but they still want to grind down some wins and use it as at least to get some points of ranking when the FIFA ranking comes out. But for other fixtures, will be coming up tonight, and to tell you the truth, when it is Euro, you are bound to also see some surprises. Let's not forget also that African qualifiers, that is for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, some games are ongoing, and some games have already been played. So some games are ongoing as we speak right about now. Let's not forget that by this time on Thursday, yesterday, the Super Eagles was battling it out with the Crocodiles of Lesotho. So other African countries are also having their own engagement. It's match day 1 in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers for African region. So let's see how it goes. Let's see also how the Euro 2024 qualifiers, some games are ongoing, and some of the games that will come up later. For the English national team, they have been fantastic under Gary Southgate. So let's see how it ends at the end of the day. Okay, before we go on the show, let's quickly look at the biggest franchise in the world, talking about the NBA. There were games that went down in the NBA. Just I think 2 games thereabout went down in the NBA, and we have the result to give to you this evening. Brooklyn Nets lost to Miami Heat 128 to 115 points, and then Oklahoma City Thunder beat Golden State Warrior 128 to 109 points. All right, that is where we'll leave it on Sports Update from Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi saying thanks for watching.